clicking to go live. We are live. Let us know when you guys can hear us or see us. John, thank you. You hear and see us. We'll give everyone a few minutes to get in the room here. Hear and see Glenn. Afternoon from the Midwest. Hope you guys are staying warm. Actually, it's cold everywhere. It's cold everywhere right now. It's a real thing. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Dan. Thank you, thank you. I got my reading glasses on today because I've got to read your comments. Reading our prompter versus reading the laptop with all the little things going on definitely requires my glasses. So yeah, on live stream, you get to see me how, oh, that's cute. Our receiver just turned on.
But did it make the light flash?
It might have, I don't know. So, all right. How's everyone doing? Greetings. Hello from New Zealand. Well, hello. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, whatever you celebrate, just be merry. Currently 30,000 feet over Northern California. Damn.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. Hope you're going somewhere nice. Hope you're going somewhere nice. Or going home. That can be nice too.
Ricky is chiming in from the UK and Sweden. David is here from Sweden.
Yeah.
It's always so cool to me to see people from so many different parts of this world, you know.
Yeah. Dan, you went with the R600s with your existing clipped sub. Couldn't be happier. Glad to hear it. Haven't heard the R600s, but I bet they're pretty good.
And you can get them in white.
And you can get them in white. He's headed back to Seattle. Well, safe flight. We hope to entertain you en route. There was a super chat here that was left before the show even started.
Yeah,
so
you got to start with them
let's
first.
go with Tim. Let's kick the show off with Tim, guys. I'm looking into getting an integrated tube amplifier. I've considered options from Deckware, but I'm also thinking of the Macintosh MA252 or MA352 combo tube solid state. Have you heard either? I have not. I have not. I will say that when it comes to Deckware, I don't know which price point or which exact model you're looking at. Obviously, Deckware makes amplifiers that also act as integrated amplifiers at a lot of different price points. If you do not have very efficient loudspeakers, I'm talking about speakers with sensitivities greater than, say, 90 dB, I would definitely make sure, if you are looking at Deckware, that you are looking at one of their more powerful amplifier / integrated. So I'm talking like, I think they make a 12 watt per channel one, a 25 watt per channel one, because the one I use, the Zen, probably isn't going to have enough dynamic oomph for speakers that are below, say, 90 dB sensitive. So I just want you to be aware of that. Anything from Macintosh is probably going to have enough juice to power the Sun. Even their tube amps seem ridiculously powerful, but unfortunately I haven't heard either one of those. So I apologize, but thank you so much for your question.
And I just dropped a link to the Deckware amps Andrew is referring to in the chat box. I'm going to try to do that throughout the live stream. So if you see anything from Kristi Wright with a little wrench by it, that's me. And you can trust the links being left there.
There you go.
I'm going to answer this really quickly.
Which one?
Dor Shalom. Hello from Israel. I'd like to know if there's a chance for a review of an RCAM receiver in the future. You guys ask this every time we review receivers, and unfortunately the parent company of RCAM, which is Harman, while I am thankful that they do take time to return our emails, Unfortunately, they say that stock is the reason they cannot send us any review samples, and that seems to go for anything that has the RCAM name on it. So unfortunately, I don't see that happening anytime soon.
We're still trying. We will always keep trying, but pretty much anything coming out of Harman right now is exceedingly difficult for us to get our hands on. The last couple of Harman reviews that you've seen, minus the JBL 4309, which was a nominee for Speaker of the Year, you've seen them on this channel because we've bought the gear. We physically have bought the gear from retailers. And no, we did.
Well, they did send us the JBL Bar 5.
Oh, you're right. I forgot they sent us the JBL Bar 5 for review.
So apparently JBL has stock.
JBL, you can get JBL stuff. You can't get RCAM and Mark Levinson and all that stuff. So, yeah, good catch there. ABX audiophile. I need the R600. Do you feel they will be near the R700? You know, honestly, I have a feeling the R600, and again, I've not heard them, but I have a feeling that you're just going to probably back off the bass prowess of the R700 about a half octave. Everything else, probably from, say, 80, 90 hertz on up through to the tweeter, should probably be the same. So, DeWitt, another recent R600 guy. Klipsch RP was too bright for my room. Paired with Integra 3.4 and probably unnecessarily bought a BassX A3. What are your room dimensions? Our room dimensions are 21 and change wide by 11-ish feet high by 27 feet long. And on the right side, so if I'm looking at our television, off to the right side is a giant open area that we have not yet figured out what we're going to do with. And that open area is almost the same size as the room I just described to you. So we have quite a bit of space. Your room is a little bit smaller than ours. I will say this, I loved our R700s on the BassX amps. I really did. So I don't know if you necessarily made the wrong call, even if your room is a little bit smaller. Oh boy, okay.
Oh, make sure you have live chat selected, not top.
Let me guys, let me switch to live. I am now live. Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see Zachariah. Thank you so much.
Zach's our resident comedian in the comments.
He is.
Every time you guys, Andrew has his username up on the screen right now. He is a wealth of funny. Let me just tell you. So thank you for your $1 contribution.
Oh, I think it's $3. I think you did 3.
No,
or just
I'm
the one.
One.
Oh.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. Thank you.
We just appreciate you. I appreciate your humor more than anything. So
he's got our backs. Yeah. He's got our backs. He's our resident troll hunter. He does a really good job battling the trolls. Trent, looking to upgrade speakers, considering Canton Reference 7K, Q Acoustic Concept 500, or Sonus Faber Sonetto 8s. Are any of these worth the cost of the upgrade? My current speakers are 704S2s. Ooh. Well, I will say, full disclosure, it's been probably 10 years since I've heard Canton anything. I do recall last I heard them, and liking them very, very much. Very dynamic, fun speaker, very well constructed speaker. Q Acoustic Concept 500 is amazing. I love that. I love that speaker. It's very similar to the Concept 50, which we've made our own, just with a bit more bass. But it's probably Sonus Faber Sonetto 8 that I have zero experience with. So would it be worth an upgrade? I'll say this much. Going off of my memory of Canton, knowing what I know of the Concept 500, Sonus Faber being the outlier, there's a very real chance compared to the 704 S2s, you may find any one of those 3 speakers you've just named to be a little bit easier to drive, maybe a little bit more dynamically interesting. without quite so much forwardness in the treble. But if you need that detail, if you like that extra intelligibility that B&W seems to give a lot of its listeners, I don't think anything from Canton or Concept or Q Acoustics are necessarily going to be more. The Sonos Faber might still give you that while being easier to drive. That's all I can say. Thank you, Trent, very much for your contribution and just for watching. So,
I just want to point out really quickly,
yeah,
in case they missed it in the video description, we are, because of the volume of chats that come through, we are answering the super chats in priority. I just want to let people know that up front, so you don't feel like we're overlooking you.
Yeah.
I do try to answer non-super chat questions in the chat box when I can, but I just wanted to make that clear. And one more thing before I let Andrew get back to this. If we miss, that's Katie giving her input. If we miss your question, your super chat question during the live show, we will come back and answer that in the comment section beneath the video within the next day or so after the stream.
You're really good about that, and she's good about alerting me if there's very specific stuff. So one or both of us will end up answering a question after the fact if we miss you.
Anyway, so PSA is over.
Okay. Mr. J. Warren, how would you go about combining a hi-fi and home theater setup 2.1 with a power node? Well, if you only need to do 2.1, the power node would do it. Otherwise, you're looking at an AV receiver, in which case, if you have preamp outs of your AV receiver, then you can add your own separate stereo amplifier. Just know that your preamp's still going to be the receiver. And so it gets a little bit weird. Now, there are some preamps. For example, my old Emotiva preamp, 2-channel preamp and amplifier that I had to that. The preamp had what was called a home theater pass-through. I know the Parasound Hint 6, is it the Parasound Hint 6?
What
that integrated? The one that we had?
Yeah, it was
6. It
has
has a home theater pass-through. So if you want, you need to find an integrated amplifier that has a home theater pass-through that will allow it to be connected to, say, an AV receiver with preamp outputs. And basically what that means is that the volume of your receiver is going to, at that point, cover the volume for the integrated, but the integrated is going to be driving your left and right mains. And then when you just want to listen to stereo, you don't even have to turn your AV receiver on. Audiolab 6000A Play and their new 9000 series also has home theater pass-through. So Dan Ballard, happy holiday to you both. If you had to choose JBL 4309 or Polk R200. For me personally, knowing that, let's just say price is not a factor because you just rattled off two drastically different speakers in terms of cost. The 4309s are what, $2,000 a pair, and you can get R200s for $650. In terms of price to performance, the 4309 cannot touch the R200. Let's just get that out of the way. In terms of like cool factor, what I would just like to have and see every day in my room, I'm going 4309. But that doesn't mean it sounds night and day better. Starless, AVR versus integrated. Small QA speakers, rel sub, any real benefit from, say, Denon X3800 upgrade to Heigl 120. Heigl. This may be a dumb question, but lacking experience. Look, if you go with an integrated amplifier in stereo, I think that you're going to find the sound to just be a little bit more focused compared to most entry to mid-level receivers. Now, once you start talking about receivers from the likes of, say, NAD or Marantz's upper end line, like the 8015, I'm talking $3,000, or higher, Rotel's receiver. Now that you're really blurring the line between the differences in what you're going to get from an integrated and a receiver. But like a 3800H from Denon, a 1700H from Denon, you're going to notice a difference in stereo going to the 120. But if you know down the line that you want to have multiple channels, you want to do home theater, AV receiver's not going to tie your hands behind your back. And if you're new to this and you don't have a wealth of knowledge or experience with a lot of different electronics and speakers, I have a feeling you're actually probably going to be pretty happy with an AVR, and it's going to save you a ton of money. So maybe just don't worry about what you see in magazines and even on channels like ours, and just go with what makes sense for you and your experience level, not to mention your budget. Evan. Hey, Andrew and Kristi. Even though I'm done with my home system and my 40N is going to last me for years, I still watch along because of your amazing presentation and quality. Well, I read that thinking there was a question coming, and it was just a compliment. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
I can buy some bagels with that money.
I just bought a bunch of bagels.
There's never enough.
There's never enough bagels.
No. Never enough bagels.
Okay, so thank you, Evan. ABX audio file coming at us from high above. Thank you for the R600 thoughts. Love you guys. Auditioning the R600, 1723s, and the Dynaudio EMIT 50 next month. P.S. Hello, Kristi. Cheers, peeps.
What's up?
Yeah, he must be getting ready to land. He says. All three of those are going to be great. I'm assuming the 1723, that's the Arendal.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
We haven't heard those.
I haven't heard those.
But I'm guessing they're fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I see no reason why they wouldn't be. Snarky Trucker, welcome back, member.
Are you on the road, Snarky?
Andrew, did you end up keeping the Technic 700 Mark II? And when are you guys planning to review brands like Luxman and Pass Labs? Okay. First question, did we keep it? No, we did not. Not because it's bad. Not because it's bad.
No, it's fantastic.
It's absolutely fantastic. But we had the opportunity to welcome the R1000 back into our home around the same time as the 700 Mark II. And so seeing as how the R1000 is both Kristi and I's pretty much favorite amp of all time so far, we jumped.
Did you just say it was our favorite amp of all time?
So far. One of our, okay.
What are you doing?
You're
opening up so many cans of worms right now.
One of our favorite amps that we've had on this channel.
It's really good. We love it.
We jumped at the opportunity to welcome it back. So yeah, we opted for the R1000 over the 700 Mark II. For the rest of your questions, when are you planning to review? Well,
before you get into that, don't forget the Roxon Atessa. We were allowed to keep, hold on to that, not keep it, but to.
They extended our loan.
Extended our loan. I love that. I just dropped a link for the Atessa.
It's, you know what it is?
In the box.
It's kind of, and I'm not saying the technology is anywhere near the same, because it's not. But sonically, tonally, the Roxon Atessa is kind of like, I'm using the word poor man's with all the respect and fun and love in the world, but it's kind of like a poor man's Technics, except it does more. So don't sleep on that piece. Okay, back to when are we going to do Luxman and Pass Labs? No clue about Luxman. I know we've reached out to them.
The reason why we don't review Luxman
here comes
this.
Guys, get your drink.
Yeah.
Here comes the straight truth.
I have wanted to review that brand probably since we started the channel because I think that they're products are absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
We have communicated our interests via their rep, and their rep through Luxman has let us know that the only way we could review the product is if we adhere to linking to or not linking to whomever they dictated. And we just, obviously you guys know we never charge for reviews. They're not paying us any money. We're not asking for anything. We're not asking to keep the product. So for a company to want to have that sort of oversight on the review, we just feel it's a bit of
it's an overreach.
Yeah. Like, I don't know why we would do that, or why they would why would they even care?
Why would they care and know that no other brand asks this?
No, so, not so far. Knock wood. That's not something that anybody has ever had an expectation of. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that is the case. I followed up again, I think sometime this year, and it was the same answer. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of where things sit. We would have to buy one of their products with our own money in order to bring that review for you. Not saying we won't ever do it, but they're kind of expensive. So, you know, I don't know.
It's kind of the difference of buying like a Luxman and knowing like that's our out-of-pocket expenditure for, say, the quarter, versus being able to maybe bring you 2 or 3 other reviews that you're also asking for. So we kind of always have to weigh those things. As for past labs, there's absolutely no barrier there. I honestly have not opened up my Rolodex and just given them a call. I love past labs, used to be a customer. Their stuff is phenomenal. So I have no doubt that should we welcome them to the channel, maybe this coming year, it's going to be a great review. So, alrighty. TM, do you think you will reconsider getting the Macintosh 7200 to drive your Cornwall 4s now that you're in the new house? Anything other than Mac, maybe? Well, the Cornwall 4s are hooked up right now using a Yamaha piece that we'll be bringing to you shortly. And we will be testing some other amplifiers using the Cornwall 4s in January. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Ooh. Oscar, just saw the video where Kristi said, "Can we pass on the specs? They know how to read." I laughed so hard. Can you recommend me a soundbar for a 43-inch QN90B? It's for my room, so space and budget appreciate it. Well, knowing that you have a Samsung television, I don't particularly know all the ins and outs of the QN90B. If it has Q Symphony, obviously you're going to benefit from a Samsung soundbar that also has Q Symphony capability. And if you're not familiar with what that is, it allows the TV speakers and the soundbar to work in harmony, and it absolutely works. Also, going with a Samsung soundbar will enable you to enjoy Dolby Atmos without needing to connect an HDMI cable between, say, the bar and the TV, which will cut down on clutter. So if it's in your room or space is limited, anytime you can cut down on clutter might be a good thing. But so that's Samsung. You know, I'm not saying you have to go Q990B.
Well, I just linked to that for Oscar in the chat box. And I know that that particular link will take you to some of the other bar options within that line.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
The Q990B is meant for, I think, a bigger space.
Right.
So you might check out. I can't remember what their model numbers
use
are.
That link.
You'll see it.
Yeah, use that link and check out like the model below, or maybe 2 models below. That might be more what you're looking for. But if you don't want to go with the Samsung bar, I gotta say, really impressed with the Bose 600. It does amazing with Atmos, and if you need more bass, the Bose Bass Module 500 is only an additional $300. The 500, not the 700.
The 500, I'll
$300 or $400.
I'll link to it for him.
Yeah.
I think it's $4.
Might be $399, but right now, shy of spending insane money, wink, Samsung and Bose currently make my favorite soundbars. Zachariah, Zach. You're going to have to tell me, Zach or Zachariah, because I don't ever want to
He's
assume.
told me, I've asked him before.
Okay.
And he's told me both are fine.
Both are fine? Well,
correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I recall you telling me.
Simon, 29 months, a member now. Whoa. All right. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year when it comes. And, well, just to everybody. Simon's just here spreading cheer, guys.
Yeah. This is our last. This is kind of our Christmas holiday.
Christmas, New Year's
holiday
special.
Episode.
Yeah, it's the Star Wars Christmas special is what this is. Oh no, it just jumped on me. Okay.
Did you mess up?
I did not. All right, here we go. George, Linton's for $950, including the stands used for metal electronic hip hop mostly. Would you go for it? Yeah. Getting Linton's for under $1,000 new? Yeah, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine.
Those are good speakers.
Those are great speakers. What is comparable to the Q990B but for music? bar sits far from me. Surround left is next to me. I like the Dolby. Sounds amazing. Love the immersion. What is comparable to the Q990B? Well, why don't you just use the Q990B for music, I guess, is my question, because I actually really enjoyed the Q990B with music. If you're trying to say, like, or someone's like, well, what's a more music-centric bar for me? The only other two bars that I really enjoyed, and I found that I enjoyed them for music, Bang & Olufsen BO Sound Stage, I thought was great for music, and that name, Muso Bar.
The Muso 2?
Was Muso 2. Muso Bar 2.
What are you talking about, for what?
For sound bars that, you know, are maybe a little bit more musical or I say use the 990.
I think the 990.
I think the 990 is great.
I mean, this idea that a soundbar can't be good at music is just ridiculous to me. I personally think the Samsung sounds great with music.
I was just trying to give someone, you know.
But if you want an alternative to that, I would say the Bang & Olufsen.
That's what I said.
Stage. Oh, I wasn't listening.
Oh, I said Bang & Olufsen Stage, and then the only reason I would say the name is it literally has Name's music streamer built into it.
Yeah, I mean, I liked that quite a bit. I just think that it's not. Now that I've heard more things, I don't. That's not what I would go with. I would go Bang & Olufsen before Name. Oh, 100%. Because I just think the Name is really expensive, and at that point, just get not the Bose, but the Bang & Olufsen. Yeah. I mean, that's just my 2 cents. Okay. Sorry, I was multitasking, and I honestly wasn't listening. Hope that helps. I was too busy telling Zach congratulations on his promotion. Oh, that's what I was doing. Congratulations. So you can blame him. All right, we're blaming Zach. Hope the Canner and Martini are providing some warmth this holiday season. Appreciate you both. Chris just left us a super chat. The Canner has been providing. It's so nice. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, it's so nice to be able to have unboxed that. I didn't unbox it during the summer because it obviously being a giant tube amp, it does get warm. But we've enjoyed it now on the B&Ws, the Klipsch, this other speaker that comes out Sunday, wink. And yeah, it's the Canner is so good. It's so good. It's just, here's the problem. Nobody can get one. They're literally not sold anywhere. They're barely sold here in the US, and supply and stock is limited, and it's cost prohibitive product, but and their new stuff, I think, is even more expensive, and I want it so bad. But isn't it like 20 grand or something? Shh. This is the season of dreaming. Oh, okay, sure. This is the season of dreaming. Sure. Well, I'm going to dream about a pool instead. How about that? All right. Well, Chris, thank you so much. Jason, thank you for the chat, super chat. I don't see a question. So if you meant to submit a question, I'll have Kristi look out for it. Pat, hi. Hi, Pat. I have Paradigm Studio 100 version 4 5.1 home theater. Although it's been years since your review of the Studio 100, what is your general sense of how they compare to newer offerings like the R700s? I love the Studio 100s. I do. I had those. They're great. I think that you would find in a head-to-head, again, going off memory, I think you would find that the Polks are probably going to seem a little fuller, a little less energetic in the upper mid-range to tweeter. I think you're going to find that bass hits a little lower, plunges a little bit deeper. The Paradigms are probably going to seem just a little bit more dynamically interesting at lower volumes compared to the Polk, but once you start listening at around 70 dB or higher, I think you're going to find the scale, the weight, and the added little bit of dimension that the R700 brings to the party, if that's what you're looking for, is going to be superior to the Paradigm. I saw on Google, Snarky Trucker, I saw on Google that you had DefTech as your reference system. I'm curious what you had and if your opinions still ring true. I had 7,000 bipolar or BP super towers. 1, 2, 3, 4 times 6. Yeah,
x6 with the center being basically the super tower on its side with the upward firing subwoofer. What are my opinions of it? Well, back in that day, I was rocking a 150-inch projection screen, and that system slammed, and it slammed so hard that it's actually how I met my neighbor, which was an actor at that time, because they heard it through my walls and across a little parking lot, and they came over and knocked, and they said, "What the hell was that?" I said, "Come on into my world." So yeah, no, it slams, absolutely slams. I wouldn't say that it's the most nuanced setup I've ever heard, but if you're into like Black Hawk Down and stuff like that, puts you right in the middle of the action.
That's such a good movie.
Yeah. Let's see. David, thinking of moving from my 804 D3s to Sonus Faber, hooked to a Technics SU. Oh, you've got the R1000. Quick second, is there a real difference between the Ortofon Black and LVB? There is. There is a difference. I'm not going to say that it's like night and day, but there is. LVB is where I'm stopping. I see no reason, at least because I just don't want to, I don't want to nerd out that much on turntables to that extent, because I have a feeling right now my rig is probably carrying a retail price of, what, $2,000, you know, $2,000, 1,500 to $2,000. In my opinion, I have a feeling that I would have to spend upwards of about 5 to 7 to notice a difference. And if I'm going to put 5 to 7 grand into my system or my vinyl rig, I'm doing it in the form of the phono preamp. The only phono preamp that I've found over the years that I think makes or has made just like a transformative difference over what I have is the Bandwidth phono preamp, which we reviewed like 2 years ago. That thing was like buying a whole new turntable and cartridge. No BS. I love that piece. And I think it's 3 or 4 grand. And so I would keep what I have with the LVB and get that, and then I'd probably be done. So yeah, that's how I feel about the LVB. Thinking of moving from my 804 D3s to Sonus Faber. Unfortunately, I don't know the D3 sound. There is not one 800 series D3 that I heard. So I don't know how big of a difference it is from my old D2s. Now, I know my old D2s I absolutely loved, and I wish I had not parted ways with them. I wish I still had them to this day more than ever. They would have looked so bitchin' in this room. Sonus Faber, I don't know that line, but I got to tell you, R1000 with our 805 D4s is magic. It's absolutely magic. I'm not trying to push you into like a D4 Bowers and Wilkins. I'm just saying, if you've got an R1000 with D3, you're probably there, dude. You probably are. Yeah. Hi again. Have you heard UK BBC speakers such as Graham Audio or Harbeth? If so, what do you think? I have not heard Graham Audio, but I have heard Harbeth. I absolutely love Harbeth. In fact, one of your first HiFi store experiences back in Texas, we listened to some Harbeth as well as another company. The Harbeths were this way, the other company was this way.
Was the other company the one I wrote to?
Yes.
Who was just absolutely awful.
Yeah, but we both really like Harbeth.
You know the saying, like, don't ever meet your heroes?
That was a true statement.
That was something that happened to me. I wrote to this guy just being like, hey,
total praise.
Just want you to know, like, you were my really one of the very, 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 very first introductions to hi-fi sound for me, and I absolutely love your speakers. Would it be possible if we might be able to review them and get and mind you, like, this person, like, they're a smaller, I mean, everybody knows who they are. Mm-hmm. But there's nothing really in it for us other than just like being able to have the opportunity to review it. Mm-hmm. And this person wrote me back and was like, yeah, I just don't know if your audience is the right audience for our brand.
Yeah, you don't really cover the kind of stuff we want to be associated with.
And it was just so, it really kind of broke my heart, you know, but whatever. Guess who's never going to be on this channel?
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, I
Jerome,
digress.
hello to both of you. First of all, thank you for being so kind to answer some of my past questions. Glad. Thank you. Recently, I was offered the old 5.1.4 from Andrew Jones. I don't know if it's a good move for 2,000 Canadian. Receiver suggestion. Like the old Pioneer Andrew Jones speakers, because the old Pioneer Andrew Jones speakers, I don't know what the current conversion rates are. But his older, well, he did have 2 lines in that Pioneer line. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a good deal or not. I do know they're fabulous speakers. A good receiver suggestion. The last time I had those speakers, I had them on Pioneer. I had them on a Pioneer Elite receiver. I don't remember which one, but I would say maybe look at the 305. That's currently out there right now. It comes with Dirac. It's fabulous. I think it's $1,200. Pioneer 305, $1,100, $1,200.
I'll look it up.
I would start there. I would start there. Obviously, there's an Onkyo equivalent in the 7100 or an Integra equivalent in the 3.4. We just gave our receiver of the year to. But yeah, I think if they're the Andrew Jones Pioneers that I'm thinking of, the Pioneer Andrew Jones I'm thinking of, the Pioneer Elite 305 or 505 that's currently available right now, at least in the US, would probably be a nice place to start.
I just gave you a link, Jerome, for the 305. If you're curious, you'll find it in the chat box.
All right. She's still bummed about her story.
Yeah, sorry.
she's thinking about her story. Steven, do you still have your JBL L100s? Would you hard pass on them at this point? Since they are on sale, they are tempting me. From the re-review you did, you sounded disappointed. I was not disappointed in the L100s. I'm not a hard pass on them. Believe it or not, I just personally, now we have not had the L100s in our new space, so that answers your question, do we still have them? But in our old space, I actually preferred the more precise sound of the L82, which is the one just below the L100. Now in this new space, this larger space, the L100 would probably be a better fit for us if we were to go back down that road. But I don't have a problem with it. Like I think that we ultimately ended up keeping the Heresy 4s over the L100s personally, just because they were a little bit livelier sound, and they were smaller and they were all inclusive. The thing about the L100s as a reviewer is I had to not only find space to store the speakers, but then I had to worry about the stands. And I will be the first to admit I was not at all impressed with the L100 stands. And I believe you can buy the L100s without the stands. And if you do, I would advocate for maybe buying the KLH Model 5 stands for L100s, because the powder coating on the KLH stands appears to be better. The Tober, just wanted to thank you guys on the recommendation for the Lumina 2s. Those speakers are awesome, paired up with my SVS subwoofer, running my Sherborne 200 watt. Aren't they? Aren't they great? Like that speaker, the Lumina 2s, legit. Like if you're not one of these people where you are going to go to the nth degree to make sure everything about your room is absolutely perfect, the Lumina 2s can hang with absolute reference level gear. They absolutely can.
I agree. I think
we have so much fun with them.
They're really good. And,
yeah.
Forgive me if I'm repeating you, because again, I cannot
multitask.
Cannot listen and do other things at the same time. I personally think that they're out of the 3 series, or the
Luminous
speakers,
series,
the Luminous series, the 3 speakers in that series.
Yeah.
If you're not going to go with the 5s, then the 2s are I think, better buy. Yeah.
And especially knowing that you already have a subwoofer, you have absolutely the right 1-2 punch. Absolutely. Is the Elite Pioneer 5.1.4 Atmos? I think it can process 5.1.4, but you may, again, I don't have any of this stuff right in front of me because I never know what you guys are going to ask. You may have to use a separate stereo amplifier to get 0.4. I don't recall off the top of my head. You may have to go up to the Pioneer 505 for 0.4. Go to Pioneer's website, use the link Kristi just sent you, shop around and see which one of the 3 Pioneers is going to meet your needs. And also double check me on the RZ50. Again, I don't have one right here in front of me, even though I still have one. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Hello, running Focal Cora upgraded to their Sopra #1. Currently have 2 Emotiva XPA7. Can you recommend a different amp? Why? Emotiva is good enough. XPA7, I mean, if you need more power for the Sopra ones, you could always go with an XPA2, which will probably have more power than the 7-channel version. But if you have the bladed XPA, which is I think Gen 3 now, or maybe it's Gen 4, maybe they can just spec you 2 new blades that you can drop in. But Emotiva is good enough, unless you just want something that's, you know, got a different, maybe slightly different tone, in which case I don't know what your budget is. I will say that maybe Levinson has a slightly different tone. Macintosh would be a different tone. Focal. I think I'd probably do Levinson with Focal. I think I would. Let's see. Okay. Thoughts on the Forte 4, maybe Heresy 4, all music, but especially rock and metal in an untreated, semi-open room. I have the Marantz PMA 8006, Rega P6 with an Ortofon Bronze, and the Denton 85th. So if you have the Denton 85th, let me guess, you are looking for something that's a little bit livelier, maybe a little less neutral, a little less reserved, in which case, you gotta, if you can swing the Forte 4s, they are demonstrably better than the Heresy 4s, and still to this day remain one of my favorite speakers. So Forte 4. All right. Hey, I am all caught up. All right, so now that I'm caught up, I saw a couple of questions. Did you say you were going to be reviewing some shit audio products? We are currently evaluating some. They are not on the schedule. I don't know if they'll get a full review, but we do have some finally in-house, and we are carrying out some evaluations to see which ones or all of them we will be sharing with you guys. Did you guys ever do a dedicated review of the solid steel stands that you have? Here's my dedicated review of the solid steel stands. They are absolutely fabulous, and there's no other stand that I will be using. Do they make speakers 10 times better? No, but they make speakers look 10 times better.
They are.
They're amazing. They're
ones.
so cool, and they're so good, and they can hold an F ton of weight. There have been a number of high-end speakers that people have sent us for review, and they include their factory stands, and I don't even unbox them. Because my solid steel stands are great.
They're on back order again.
Oh, damn it.
I did just, WildStar, I did just throw you the link of where you can get them. If you order them now, it says they'll ship or expected in February. They just came back in stock, and I know Andrew posted on Instagram to let people know, because I just stumbled across the fact that they were back in stock, because they're never in stock.
Yeah. How
they can't get these things built fast enough, it's crazy. But
I think the raw versions,
no,
those are even out.
Well, the last time I looked, they were, sometimes those are available.
Sometimes the raws are.
The smaller, shorter stand is in stock.
Because we use the 6.
Yeah, it's the 6 that I linked to it in the chat box, but
yeah.
It's showing out of stock in the moment or on back order or whatever. But you can, in a case like the solid steel stand, you really should just place your order and then wait for it to come in, because they are rarely in stock.
Yeah.
And if they are in stock, there's like 2 pairs or something, and then they're gone.
Yeah. Because they're good.
Yeah, they're really nice. But I will say, the Kanto stand is, in my opinion, a really solid backup.
The Kanto, the thicker one, the square post
I'm
one.
gonna link to it, but it's
the only other stand we use.
It's not. It's about half the cost of the solid steel, and I think looks really nice, and it's made very well.
It's made incredibly well. It has a hollow core that you can fill with bags of sand, and you can also run your cables up through it. The solid steel stands, I use little Velcro straps to kind of keep the cables to the tethered to that back leg. I use black Velcro straps, that way you kind of never notice that they're there. But the Kanto does have some built-in wire management. So that's one thing that it does a little bit better than the solid steel. But another really, really good stand. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Nemo Propaganda uses the Kanto stands and speaks very highly of them as well. So, I'm coming in late. Wanted to wish you guys a Merry Christmas. Thank you. I'll watch from the beginning later tonight. And next time you are in SMXSBP, I would love to buy you both lunch. Well, thank you.
I don't know
where that is.
I'll Google it. SMX.
SMX.
Yeah, no, not.
I don't know where that is.
I don't know where that is.
Oh, no. Anyway, thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Some sort of marketing thing comes up.
Uh-oh. Drew McKellar, I forgot to donate. If you could see my last question, LOL. Drew McKellar. We'll look. Kristi will multitask and not listen to me for a minute.
Here's the only thing, Drew. Because this is live, I can only scroll up so far. So if you're, oh wait, I see. No,
I see. I see Drew. You say
I see his. I forgot, but.
And I see I'm in the military, so I'm on a budget. Oh, here we go. Here we go, Drew. I found it.
Okay.
What receiver do you recommend for 5.1? It's B&W 602 towers, B&W center, B&W 606 surrounds with an SVS PB2000 Pro. And what amp would you recommend for just the towers? I currently have a Marantz 6015. Any receiver with the 600 series, I would have steered you towards a Marantz. Those speakers have a tendency to be a little bit on the bright side, so the Marantz would probably calm that down. As for a stereo amplifier that I would recommend for just the towers, I know Marantz makes a standalone stereo amplifier in that SR series, so I would probably lean you in that direction. Normally, my standalone more budget-friendly amplifier is the BassX A2. I have not paired the BassX A2 with the 600 series B&W, but I don't know if I would. But that would kind of be it. So either look at the stereo amplifier from the Marantz SR line, which I still think is going to be relatively affordable. If I'm not mistaken, it's going to be somewhere between the realm of $300 and $600, or the BassX A2. Just know that I have not put the BassX A2 on those speakers. So yeah. But the nice thing is Emotiva has a great in-home trial period. So could be a great way to find out. Alrighty, let's see here. Up. Here we go. Okay, Drew, got you. Johnny, best floor standing speaker for the Bluesound Edge. Now that Edge is the slightly less powerful one, if I'm not mistaken. The Bluesound Edge.
I have no idea.
There's the Power Node, which we have, and I believe the Edge is the one that just came out that's below it, which we have not heard. Well, I don't know your budget, so I'm going to give you a range. The Polk XT60/XT70 seems to go well with just about anything, and they're very easy to drive. Stepping up from there, you could be in the territory of, say, a Polk R600. Don't know if I go 700 on either the Power Node or maybe the Edge, but the 600 might work for you. Let me give you a third option. You really like those JBL Stage, those Stage 190s.
Yeah.
I know the Revel Concerta 2 line is currently on sale at Crutchfield, and that speaker line sounds good with everything. Plus, you get to tell all your friends you own Revel. So we have the M16s, which are the bookshelf version, but the F35 and F36, I think you can currently get them for about $1,000 to maybe $1,100 a pair. Those would be killer and likely all the speaker one would ever really need.
Hey guys, make sure if you're doing a super chat that you ask the question in the super chat box to make sure to give us the best opportunity to answer it.
To see it, yeah.
Because there's somebody here that's another one person that forgot to donate on their question.
What's his name?
Oh, it's nonsensical. Osupoke85. I don't know.
Okay.
I gave you a link to how to become a member. I don't know if you can do that within the video, the live stream. I've never tried that, but I did provide you a link. Now, as far as your other question, we'll have to go through and see if we can find it. But I'm just asking people if you can make sure you include your actual question in your super chat so that we can.
It does, because your super chat highlights it and it actually makes it really easy for me to spot it in what is like a stock ticker of comments.
Yeah, otherwise I have to go hunt for it, and there's no guarantee I can find it.
Okay, Ezra, if you had to choose one amp to forever pair with your Cornwall 4s, what would you choose? Cornwall 4s? Well, I mean, I love them on our R1000. It is a bit overkill. I love them with our Deckware Zen amp, but I know that the Cornwalls especially, do appreciate a little bit of power for that giant woofer. Not that the Deckware sounds bad; it actually sounds really, really good. But the Canner is better because it has a few more watts. If I did not have a channel and I was just able to sit here and listen to my heart's content with the Cornwall 4s, I would probably go with something like the Canner or the Technics. But in my experience, I really like being able to apply a little bit of PEQ to the Cornwalls, and so I would probably also need a few other. I'd probably also put a mini DSP in the chain just to dial them in perfectly. But those would be my two forever amplifiers, and with my more affordable backup probably being the Denon PMA A110. I really like that amplifier. Okay, 808. For a 20 by 14 room opening up into another 20 by 14 room. Are we neighbors? Would the Lumina 3 or 5s be overkill versus the 2? No, the 5s would not be overkill even if you already have a sub. The Lumina 3s in our room, which is equally kind of large like yours, the Lumina 3s versus the 2 and the subs, the Lumina 2s with a sub versus the Lumina 3 with a sub didn't sound really any different, but the 5s definitely had a difference. And so in a big space like that, I would go with the 5s even though you have a sub. But know that if you don't want to listen too loud, the 2s are still going to work.
I found that particular super chat, the Osupoke85.
Oh, I see it.
My other question is, do you see it?
I see that I forgot to donate.
No. No, the actual question.
I do not.
Okay, so his other question, or her other question, don't want to assume. My other question is, which Scotch do you prefer besides Islay Scotches? Islay? Am I pronouncing that right? I personally like Dalmore Cigar Malt. Merry Christmas to you both.
Oh.
Thank you.
Okay. I drink a lot of, I enjoy I don't drink a lot, but I like a lot of different things, but I don't pretend to be like an expert or even aficionado. So I will say, I'll give you the 5 brands that I seem to keep going back to. Top of the mark, special occasion type stuff, Lagavulin, absolutely love it. Macallan 25. Ooh, so good. Almost bought a bottle last night, actually. Eagle Rare. I do like that a lot. Angel's Envy, which we currently have. And if I'm on, well, I shouldn't say if I'm on a budget, because I'm always on a budget. Your boy is always on a budget. But I have found that the 12, what's it called?
Proper 12.
Proper 12.
That's my favorite.
That is like the best $9 wine that you bring to a party, red or white, that you bring to a party, and everyone thinks you spent a lot of money. It's so good. It's so good. It's totally drinkable, and I have yet to pay more than $24.95 for the bottle where we live. So those are the 5 that I keep coming back to. Obviously, Lagavulin, Macallan 20.
Did you mention Angel's Envy?
I did. That was number 4.
Sorry.
Lagavulin and Macallan 25. Obviously, those are going for well over $100 a bottle. So those are more special occasion. Eagle Rare is just incredibly rare to find.
Except it's here.
Except for here. Here.
Back in Texas. Texas. Our favorite liquor store to go to was Twin Liquors.
Yeah.
And we would literally have to ask them to go get it from the back because they never had enough stock. And I happen to know somebody that worked there, and he was like, "Hey, just a heads up, we keep it in the back, so
you have
just
to ask
for it." But here, you can get it in a grocery store. It's the most crazy thing to me. When we first moved here, when we walked into like a Walgreens or something.
She's never lived anywhere where you can buy alcohol.
I've only lived in Texas.
Yeah, she's never lived anywhere where you can buy alcohol outside of a dedicated liquor store that was only open for 10 minutes a day.
Yeah, seriously.
She's never been anywhere where you can buy a car on a Sunday, or a weekend for that matter. So yeah, there was quite the culture shock when she went into, I think, like a CVS.
I think it was Walgreens.
Walgreens or a CVS for a bathroom break, and she texted me because I was in the car, I was just running. She texted because we were house hunting. She's like, "There's liquor. There's liquor inside the Walgreens." And I'm like, "Yeah."
I was just amazed. Anyway, it's awesome because in Texas you have to go to 2 separate places to do grocery shopping, and then you have to go do your spirit shopping elsewhere. It was always such a pain in the butt. And
even when you're in the grocery store, they'll carry beer, but you can't buy it before noon.
Oh, because Texas and religion. Give me a break. Anyway,
it was the same thing in Nashville when I lived in Nashville. I was like, I remember I had been in Nashville for about 15 minutes. I had just gotten to the new house. All the stuff hadn't arrived, so I just needed to go to the grocery store to get a few things to survive the night. And no one told me about Nashville. So I got there, went into a Kroger's. 2 things I learned about Nashville within 20 minutes. Number 1, can't buy alcohol of any kind except piss beer inside a grocery store. And everyone's carrying. And I don't mean like, oh, I got a little pistol on my... No, full on machine guns on their back at a Kroger in the lettuce aisle. Because sometimes the yams, guys, they get out of hand. So I've never abandoned a full shopping cart in the middle of an aisle faster, because the last time I saw someone with a fully automatic weapon, they were shooting it at us. So I came around a corner and saw a guy with an AR-15 in the produce aisle, and I just abandoned my cart and slipped out the back. So way to go, Nashville. All right, I digress.
Oh my God.
DeWitt, thanks so much. We just lost 100 subs. We just lost 100
Oh my God,
subs.
every time we live stream, we lose subscribers. It's
the weirdest thing,
hilarious thing.
Because we'll get on a tangent and we'll start talking about ourselves and our feelings.
I think the last one I said, I love the gays.
Yeah, we're like, we love the gays, and like 100 people were like, nope.
Oh well.
Yep. Oh. Yeah. So anyway.
Oh my God. So if you're still with us,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you for sticking with us. All right. All right. Sir Holmes, I had the STR 750. I felt no muscle in the low to mid range. You recommend something better? I want clarity. What is the STR 750? Is that a Sony?
The what?
The STR 750? Is that a?
That sounds like
that
a
sounds
Sony
like a Sony.
Number.
Felt no muscle in the low to mid range. Well, if you want clarity, I know Sony's got that more energetic top end, which is going to be translated to clarity. So maybe you want more presence and weight clarity down low, in which case I'm going to say, well, Denon continues to just, it's not throwing a different frequency response, but there's this sensation of more bass. So maybe look at the 2800H, 3800, 3700H. Denon or Marantz, if you want a little bit more of that mid-range, a little bit more of that bass. Aha, oh no.
What?
I got onto story time, then I touched my mouse, and then it's like, here comes all the people.
Story time.
Yeah.
For sure.
Ryan B, yes, proper 12, good drink. Angels Envy, yes, they do. They make a great bourbon. They're all owned by Buffalo Trace, come to find out. Or whoever owns Buffalo Trace owns all of these other brands. All right, Mr. J, thank you very much. Happy holidays, my excellent audio friends. No question, just some love for the channel. Thanks, Mr. J.
Those are the best.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mark, try Odyssey Multi-EQ X for PC with a calibrated mic. Improves imaging and offers unmatched customization of target curve. I think you're going to like it. You know, I haven't tried it. I went to try it, realized no one had told me when it first came out that it was PC only. So that means I would have to run my parallels. But no one also bothered to tell me that it was kind of a pricey upgrade. And when I think it was a Marantz receiver was the first to have it that we had, and no one at Sound United was like, oh, here's the code to like get into it. But from what I've been able to see, when Odyssey first came out, it was starting to kind of get sprinkled into receivers, but on the whole, on the pro level, it had its own breakout, like standalone box. And I was very familiar with that, and I used that in my system. And from kind of what I've been able to tell, it appears that Odyssey's taken pretty much that, and with obvious upgrades because some time has passed, but it's kind of taken that pro Odyssey experience and given it to consumers for like $250 or $300, whatever it costs. So yes, I haven't tried it, but I am familiar with their more customizable type settings and features, and it does make a difference. So. Massimo, hi Andrew. Following some of your advice, next week, my Marantz Model 40N and Polk Reserve R700 will arrive. What do you think? I think you're going to be in for a real treat. Do you think the Marantz will have enough? Absolutely. Absolutely. We have done that pairing countless times. And I think it sounds wonderful. And it should sound wonderful because I do believe the 40N was either used in conjunction with the R700s during its creation or vice versa. So I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. It's going to be a really, really nice sounding system. You know, just maybe, I don't know what your room dimensions are in Italy, but if you find that, hey, you know, the bass is a little bit too much, don't be afraid to experiment with the placement of the speakers. But that's all. I think you're going to be really happy. Sterling, no question, just thanks for your Onkyo RZ50 review. Replaced my very old Pioneer 1130. It's the best sounding thing that's ever been in my living room and so easy to set up. You know, I gotta say, it kind of hurts my heart when I talk about the RZ50 and then people kind of try and say like, oh, Onkyo was terrible and everyone knows they're garbage and they're going out of business, which is not true. Onkyo, the receiver line, has nothing to do with Onkyo Japan, which is what has filed for bankruptcy. The RZ50 is a great product. It just is. And I know that maybe back before Onkyo was acquired, by its new ownership in the mid 2000s. Maybe they did have a run of bad luck, but the people that appear to be in charge of it now are not the same people that gave all of those customers a bad experience. So don't be afraid to give them a second shot, because so far our RZ50, which is going on well over a year in age, and it's gone through moves, it's sat in a garage, it's been in storage, it's been plugged in, it's been this, it just works. So yeah, I can't recommend the RZ50 enough. Thank you for the super chat. Oh, Steve Wright. Time to pay the Robinson tax? Is that meant to be? Okay, time to pay the Robinson tax. Tip the mailman or UPS driver now. Thanks for the great reviews and advice. My wallet is $5K lighter, but money all well spent. Keep up the great work. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year too. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry if I misunderstood the comment at first. I'm like, oh, I hope you don't feel that way. But thank you. I really appreciate it. And thank you for being a member. And I should have known that it was tongue in cheek. But sometimes I much like Kristi's portions of our reviews, I'm seeing things live as they occur. And so you're watching me work through my process. Okay. I don't want to say your name wrong. I am using a Denon X1400H with I'm going to say Yamo 801 5.1. So yeah, on a budget. Movie sound only. Any tips in the secondhand price point to go up from that? The 801, that's the small series.
The 801 is the smallest
yeah,
one,
that's like the $199 one. You have a 5.1 movie sound. Secondhand price point. Take a look at JBL Stage, Polk XT line, Monitor XT line, and if you can swing it, you may really like Klipsch Reference Premier Mark II speakers. I think you may find that those are kind of in line with what you're used to with the Yamos, but just a little bit more refined, a little bit bigger sounding without necessarily being altogether bigger speakers. Yeah. Check those out.
The Flux Life.
The Flux Life
says that they've sent 2 super chats.
Okay.
And they have not been answered. I know that I believe I answered one of them.
Okay.
In the chat box, because I think it was right near the other one that I said we had missed, but you couldn't find it, so we just answered it on air. It wasn't like put up on the lower third. So is it flux capacitor? No, the Flux Life.
Oh, Flux.
So
Life.
I don't know if you've seen.
I haven't gotten that far yet.
Seen that chat, but again, just another helpful PSA. Since we're about 67 minutes into this, if we miss your super chat during the live show, I promise you, if you just come back within 24 to 48 hours, I will have answers for you in the comment section. We hate it when we miss it during the live, but it's, sometimes it happens. But I promise you, we're not ignoring you on purpose.
Yeah. Harry Giles, happy holidays. I have a CX881 with Cornwall 4s. I think we have similar taste in bass. What would you recommend for an integrated amp at 5,000 or under? So I'm going to take it as you find the CX81 that maybe have bass, but it maybe doesn't quite have the control of the bass on those Cornwall 4s. 5,000 or under, Cornwall 4s. Well, shoot. Okay.
An amp for the
Cornwall 4s.
It wouldn't be the Cambridge, that's for sure.
I probably wouldn't go Cambridge. Audiolab's new 9000 series is proving promising. That's all I'm going to say. The Roxen line of amplifiers, also very promising. R1000 is obviously above $5,000. The Technics R700 Mark II, unfortunately, I don't believe I ever put that on the Cornwall 4s.
I think the Rotel
1592 Mark II would slay.
I'll link that for
the
you.
The Rotel 1592 Mark II would absolutely slay. Thank you. I
got your back.
I forgot about that one. And get the 1592 and just tell everyone you bought Diamond because it's the same.
Seriously. Oh well,
we don't have to go there.
The foot is
seven extra.
pounds.
It's 7 extra pounds. Okay, 7 extra pounds. It's not silk screened.
I can't even believe they said that out loud.
Yeah.
Anyway, love the amp, but
yeah,
give me a
1592 would slay. Would absolutely slay. And I think they're currently on sale. Got to run. SMX is Santa Maria. SBP is San Luis Obispo. They are airport codes. That's why we didn't know what they were.
Oh, I have never been to San Luis Obispo.
San Luis Obispo. We actually kind of Zillow looked at houses up there for a minute. She really wants a home in Santa Barbara. And there was a house. We were vacationing. First of all, no one told me, and I lived in LA for 20 years. No one told me there was a Design Within Reach outlet store right outside Santa Barbara off the highway.
What is that little town called? The name just escaped me.
Yeah, anyway, it's like 15 minutes outside of Santa Barbara.
Strip center.
In a strip
saw
mall.
it as we were driving. I was like, oh my God.
If you are in Southern California and you are dying to get a real Eames chair and want to save about $2,000 in the process, you will find 4 to 6 Eames chairs at that place in various finishes. And when I say they're in good nick, I mean like I was poring over one of them going, what's wrong with this one? And one of our DWR reps here in town let us know that honestly, when they change out showrooms, sometimes when they're changing out showrooms, it just goes to the outlet. It's not a return. It was literally a floor model that didn't get sold, and now it's there, and you're going to save like $2,000. I've never wanted to rent a U-Haul or Ryder truck so much, and then just be like, fill her up. But yeah, Santa Barbara, we absolutely fell in love with. So yeah, if we get better at this live streaming stuff and this YouTube stuff, maybe we'll be like home YouTubers and we'll just be like flippers or something. We'll go find a surf shack in Santa Barbara and fix it up.
Oh my gosh, that would be a dream.
Wouldn't that be fun? All right. LOL, my other question is, I have a Cambridge CX81 with KLH Model 5s. Would the Rotel A14 be a better amp and DAC? Love, Angels, Envy. I am an Oklahoma State grad, so that's where my username comes from. Okay. With the Rotel A14, I don't know the Rotel A14 too well. The Model 5s also like a bit of power. They like a bit of control. I would see if you can't, maybe the 1572, if you can step it up to the Rotel 1572 on the Model 5s, I think you'll be better off. And the DAC inside the 1572 and 1592 are both pretty good, so you may not need the separate DAC. So there you go. Chris, oh my God, the lettuce aisle story is top 5 stories I've ever heard you share. Hope you do a live stream of your friend's show when you come out to LA. Live stream of your friend's. I have a feeling I can't live stream his concert. Copyright rules. But yeah, no, I want to do some content while we're in LA in April. So you never know. I also want to take a vacation. So priorities.
Yeah, we're gonna vacation, guys.
Mike, you once talked about starting another channel on interior design or reviews on other items. Is that still in the works? It's still in my mind. I wouldn't say I've worked on it beyond verbally talking with Kristi about like, well, what would it look like? How do we even do it? What can we afford to do? Not only the cost of the projects, but how much can we afford to limit what we do here on this channel in order to, hi Katie, in order to, devote time and energy to that. But yeah, it's, it is something that is coming up in our conversations more and more. Not that we want to abandon hi-fi, but if you have followed along or have paid attention to our journey or my journey over 20 years, it's no surprise that I'm a would-be architect in an audiophile's body. So, all right, let's move on.
808 Love Labs.
Yeah, sit down. Sit down. Hi,
has
monkey.
asked a super chat question that I don't believe you've answered yet.
Okay.
Oh my God, she's so cute. For a 20 by 14 room opening up into another 20 by 14 room, would Lumina 2 or 5s be overkill? Did we answer?
We answered that. Yeah.
Okay.
We answered that.
Well, I saw a later comment from this person saying that they thought the question was missed. So.
Oh, I recall that one.
Yeah. As soon as I started reading it, I was like, we've already answered this.
Okay.
Anyway.
So yeah. Let's see. Kevin, for the money, keep the Q990B or go hi-fi music system. So, I mean, that just depends. Look, I'm not one of these people that it's like, hey, you can do one with the other and vice versa. Can you enjoy music on a 990B? Absolutely. I enjoyed music immensely with that system. Does it sound great, or does it sound like a traditional stereo system without some tweaking? No, you have to play with it. You have to, arrive at settings for you in your room that makes sense. And if you don't have traditional 2-channel experience of what that kind of sounds like in your room, you will be making adjustments blind. And so that may be where the confusion comes in. As for the price, because anytime I praise a soundbar, there's always 200 people in the comments saying, you can do the same for this, and blah, blah, blah. True, you can. Which is going to be best? I have no idea. I know I can be happy with either. So if you want to live the more hi-fi or audiophile lifestyle, then you should not get a 990B. And you should go on a journey with, say, bookshelf speakers and an integrated amp and maybe a DAC or something. But if you know your primary source or source of entertainment is a television or streaming or apps, and then that's being fed into something, you're going to have a far easier time in life with something like a 990B that will let you do music, but also let you do movies and television really, really well. So those are just kind of some of the things you're going to have to weigh. So hold on, guys. We got to lose a few more subscribers. Charles, good man.
What?
He's like, I love the gays too.
Oh,
and I said,
yeah.
Good. We don't discriminate here. Yeah. Bob Anderson, new room, 24 by 24 with high ceilings. I need speakers to replace Maggie 1.7s. Low visual impact is key. Ooh, have a Rel sub and Anthem A5 PCM60 processor. Well, you've got the power. Why are you getting rid of the 1.7s? I wonder. I guess you want less visual impact. Okay, less visual impact. 24 by 24. 1.7. So 1.7s are about $2,000 a pair. Less visual impact. Well, when it comes to less visual impact, my two kind of, I don't want to say I'll call them favorites because I really do like them. And they're smaller for towers, would be Sonus Faber Lumina 5s or the Arundel 16? What
What are you talking about?
The Arundel towers.
The 1961?
1961 towers. Those are low visual impact. You already have a sub because both the Arundels definitely need a sub. The Lumina 5s, depending on how you have them set up, maybe you will or will not need a sub, but both are smaller stature towers compared to, say, something like an R700, which is going to be less visual impact than Maggie's, but probably not quite less the way you're thinking. So check those out.
Did you recommend the Q Acoustics?
Q Acoustic Concept 50, another kind of compact tower. Like I said, you already have a sub. You clearly have enough juice for all three of those recommendations, so away you go. All right, let's see. Jason, if Dirac Live was baked into, I knew this was coming, knew it. Dirac Live was baked into the Marantz Cinema 50. Would it have been your receiver of the year? Opens can of worms.
Yep.
Yep. Sure would have. Without hesitation. Okay. Scott Robinson, thank you. Cool name.
Jingle Nut says Marantz has better sound versus Denon, and I personally agree.
I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that either. I wouldn't disagree either. Andrew Kristi, hold on. I'm going to take a quick drink. At least I'm not eating a sandwich.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Oh my God.
At least I'm not here just housing takeout, you know. All right.
Wow.
Andrew Kristi, love what you do. I'm going to hell for that. Which pairing do you say works best? KLH Model 5 with Marantz 40N or Denon PMA 110 or Yamaha AS 1200? Oh boy. Okay, first of all, the KLH Model 5s are fantastic. Let's just get that out of the way. KLH Model 5s do respond to a bit of power. So of those three, all three are going to sound good. But for me, I think it's going to come down to the Denon or the Yamaha. Now, what makes the Denon special is the built-in DAC on the PMA A110 is fantastic. It is so good. And the AS 1200, forgive me, does not have a DAC at all built in. So for me, and the way I like to listen and live with live with equipment, I would get the Denon because it will allow me to connect it to a television's optical out, and I can use it for both music and 2-channel movie watching. But the Yamaha has the cool factor and the meters, and I think you might find that the Yamaha has a slightly less warm or fuller sound, aka more neutral or linear sound, which on the KLH Model 5s, depending on how you have them attenuated, you may like that little bit of, say, speed, that little bit of extra control. So it's really going to come down to, do you want a slightly warmer, richer, fuller sound, or do you want lightning fast reflexes? Yeah. Jacob, I sold my Yamo D6 THX 7.1 Denon with Atmos. Reason, no space for it. Thinking about getting Samsung 995B. I don't know about any of those products. 995B, I have no idea what that's going to sound like. Is that the equivalent of the 990B, just Europe? I don't know.
No idea.
I don't know. And unfortunately, I do not know the Yamo D6 line at all. So unfortunately, I don't even want to speculate if you're going to be in shock or if you're going to miss something. So, shoot. I'm sorry. But thank you very much for your super chat. Jack Hayes. Hi, A&K. Quick update. Followed your Rex, but no luck finding a Sansui 9090 receiver for my dad just yet. I'll keep looking, but speaker Rex for Sansui, old new.
First of all, I hope your dad's doing better.
Yeah, I do too. HPM 100, Magnet 1500, or Linton? Linton Hurt? I'll say this, since you don't know what amp you may ultimately end up with. To the best of my knowledge, if you're in the US, you can't get your hands on the magnets. So let's just cross those off the list. Go with the Lintons. They're going to play the nicest with everything, and they're going to look the part if you end up with vintage gear, but you're going to have a brand new speaker with a warranty and the whole smash. And I believe they're currently on sale. And so...
No, they're not.
They're not on sale anymore?
No, they are not on sale.
Shoot, I'm sorry I misspoke.
I mean, well, they've basically, we're still on Jack's question, right?
Yeah.
They're basically giving the stands away, like including the stands.
Okay. So the speakers themselves are not on sale, but the special is you get like the stands.
Yeah. What's on sale are the Elysians.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I would get the Lintons. I really would. They're fantastic, and they really do. They're pretty benign in terms of like their frequency, so they just really do sound good with a lot of stuff. All right, but keep us posted, Jack. Please do. We were talking about you and your dad and your story after last live stream when we were eating dinner, and thank you for giving us an update. All right, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. What type of surround back speakers do you recommend from the list? Mono, dipole, bipole. Thanks for great content. I do look in my opinion, and I was kind of educated by a friend of mine on this. The dipole, bipole type speakers were call it an invention of Dolby Surround before we had all of the individual discrete channels, and that it enabled a sound to kind of, because surrounds were treated kind of as one speaker, and so you were able to kind of spread it around. Now that everything is discrete channels, you know, you've got sides, rears, backs, tops, overheads, and this and that, you should be using directional speakers. I believe maybe that is what you meant by number one here. You know, standard two-way or three-way speakers, no different than what you would use in the front. Left and right channels is what you should use if you're doing Atmos or Dolby True HD, stuff like that. All right. Power amp for the R700, max $1,000 used or new. Go get yourself a pair of Emotiva Basics A1s. Drive the living crap out of them. And you'll be, I think, at $800, $799 for the pair, or $8. You'll either be at $800 and $900 for the pair, but you'll drive the crap out of those speakers with those amps. And they'll be new. DeB, very grateful for y'all's reviews. I'm stumped on speakers. Okay. Large room, Marantz 2252B from 1977. Currently using Realistic Nova 70s. Realistic Super Tweeters and Eclipse Sub. Yeah, I like to rock. Budget up to $5K. What do you think? Large room? Forte 4s, $5K? He likes to rock.
Yeah.
You can get Forte 4s for $5K.
Let me look. I think so.
I think you can get, I mean,
everything has gone up in price.
Yeah.
So I can't remember off the top of my head, but guess what I can do for you?
We can look it up.
I can look it up. Just barely screeching under.
Forte 4s. Especially on that vintage Marantz, Forte 4s. And then just rock out.
DeB, I'm dropping a link for you right now.
All right. Sir Holmes, I don't like AVRs because I can't feel the music deeply. Should I look into a power node, Sonos amp, or AVS sound base? Or should I be looking at something more higher end? Recommendation I need, ARC. Well, why don't you use an AVR with preamp outputs and then just get a separate amplifier if you want a little bit more slam? That's what I would do. A lot of AVRs nowadays have preamp only mode, and you can even, I think in some cases, even select which channels are preamp only mode, so it just turns those ones off. I mean, that's what I would do. I would just get a separate amplifier. I don't know what speakers you're rocking, but I can tell you, I mean, even going up to like a Basics A2 from Emotiva, Class AB, it's gonna feel weightier compared to the sound base. I haven't heard the Sonos amp. The original sound base was very analytical to me. It was very analytical, which is why I didn't review it. Sonos amp, no clue what that sounds like. Power Node, absolutely love it, but Power Node is kind of ubiquitous with NAD right now in that it's very clean, very precise, but if you want that weight, that little bit of oomph, you need Class AB, you know, you need something like that. And so you can get an AVR with preamp outs and go with a Basics A2 or a pair of Basics A1 monos. And I think you're going to find that little extra grunt that you may be missing. Thank you, Glenn. I don't know if you meant to ask a question or just say thank you, but I'm going to say thank you back. But if I see that you've asked a question somewhere, I will be sure to do my best to highlight it. Oh, shoot. You guys, it just jumps on me every time. Every time I'm about ready. Oh. Basics A1 versus XTZ Edge A2 300. Okay, this is a great question. Couldn't ask for two vastly different approaches to amplifiers. One is Class AB, and one is a ICE amp, which was formerly B&O type of technology. You know I love both. I no longer talk about the XTZ Edge products because while they are very, very good, very well built, and I think an honest value, our Edge amps, after about a year or so, started to develop real issues with noise. And I have been unable to fix it, and therefore they don't get used, and I cannot speak to the longevity of that product, which is why we've pulled it from some of our recommended lists. It's not worth making a whole new video on, but in this instance, I would steer you towards the A1, the Basics A1, because I have never had a problem with any of my Emotiva amps. And I know my experience is going to be unique to me, and there's probably someone that's going to come at me. But I have had issues with our Edge amps, and I have never had an issue with the Emotiva. So that is why I am saying the Basics A1. Oh, good. I said your name right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Right. What speakers under $3,000 would you pair with the Macintosh you reviewed? The 7200 Macintosh that we reviewed, which speakers under 3,000? Oh God, I wish we still had the 7200 when we did the Polk review. That would have been eye-opening. I would say Concept 50s for sure. I have a feeling that would just be heaven. Although visually, I'm not sure the more futuristic space agey, at least in the white finish. Visually, I'm not sure the Concept 50s and the 7200 would be a good visual match, but I bet sonically they sound amazing. Polk R700. If I had the Revel Concerto line, I have a feeling that would be really, really good with that 7200. Definitely under $3,000 a pair. So yeah.
Under three?
Under three?
What about the Missions?
You mean the ones we haven't reviewed yet?
Maybe.
Not the 770s, but the Mission 700s would probably be pretty banging on that 7200 as well. Preview, guys. Yeah, there's a Mission review coming.
Sorry?
Oh man, yeah, the 700s are under $3,000 a pair. Yeah.
I honestly, I have no idea.
Okay.
They're around there. Anyway.
No, I think they're $2,000. They are not the same as the 770. I will say that. So if you think, because Mission and they are not the same. They may look very similar, but they're very different, actually. I don't want to say very different, but they're different. House of Big John, Sennheiser Ambio Max with a respectable 12-inch subwoofer, or the Samsung Q990B. Okay. To the best of my knowledge, and as I've been told, the Sennheiser Ambio Max is the exact same thing as the Sennheiser Ambio. They just gave it a new name. Look, if you can swing for an Ambio, the Ambio is the only soundbar solution that I have come across in 2.5 years, that gives Samsung's flagship bars a run for their money and does so with less boxes and hassle. So if you've got Ambio money, go for it. As for the respectable 12-inch subwoofer, I don't know what that is, but 12-inch subwoofer for the Ambio, you're good. You're good. Oh, this is not a super chat, but Kristi maybe can weigh in. and give you guys an update. Are you going to review the Sony A95K?
I don't know.
You spoke to Sony recently, but
Yeah,
we didn't get any definitive.
I get told it's coming, and then, you know.
Okay.
I'll believe it when I see it.
All right. Hey guys, got the Monitor Audio Silver 8s with the Emotiva XPA2, XSP1, and dual SVS 2000s. Where would you upgrade to improve clarity? Honestly, I would probably look. There's nothing in your signal chain that appears to be causing you clarity issues, or there's nothing in your gear list that you've presented that I would deem as not being clear. So if you're seeking clarity, I'm going to say I would play with setup, speaker placement, subwoofer integration, and room acoustics before I would change anything in your system. Because Monitor Audio Silvers with Emotiva should be pretty effing clear. So if you're having problems with clarity, I'm going to say there's something about your setup that is causing you to feel that way, not the gear. Let's see here. Okay, I think I'm caught up. Give me a real quick look here. Let's just a little bit of a reminder, guys. We got about 30 minutes to go, and then we've got a W, the little one here. So yeah. Okay, I think I've caught up with everybody's super chats. So now there was a question here. Hold on, guys. There's a question here I wanted to revisit. Hi, how do we send speakers for review? Sandy, we don't take, unless you represent a business, in which case, if you go to the About page on our YouTube channel, if you are a business and you have a legitimate product that is available for sale to consumers and it has distribution in the whole bit, you can reach us through the About page. You'll find links. But if it's like, hey, I'd love for you to just review a personal pair of speakers that I own, we don't do that.
Yeah, for liability reasons.
For liability reasons.
Plus, what happens if we didn't really love your personal speakers? Not because they're your speakers, but you know what I mean? Like, that would be a difficult review to make. Like, oh, we have this amazing viewer that sent us something and we don't like it. You know, so we just don't do it. Yeah, we just don't do it. Okay. That was one that I saw you left a few times, so I wanted to address that. Oh, here we go. Jason, what is one of your favorite songs to listen to? Something you want to hear every time you try a new set of speakers? My new one is Dope by Demeter. Give it a try. Okay, I will give it a try. I definitely listen to 4 or 5 songs without fail every time we get a new piece of anything. Moby's Ever Loving off his Play album. The original. I know it's been like remixed and all that. Try and get the 1999 recording. I listened to Cornflake Girl, Tori Amos, Legs and Boots Tour, Kansas City. I listened to Lady Blackbird, Did Someone Make a Fool Out of You? I listened to 2 Lanes, oh no. Drifting by 2 Lanes, thank you. And for the 5th pick, I will bounce either between Seville from the Mission Impossible 2 soundtrack, something from Go-Go Penguin, I think it's called Pray Deep. Or Usually we'll play something off of Audio Slave.
Audio Slave, Show Me How to Live is another great one that I use.
I just dropped a link to our demo music.
Okay.
Well, it's not the complete list, but
yeah, we've definitely updated some things.
Some of what he's referencing, you will be able to find on if you look at the chat box.
Yeah. Another one that I've started recently using, a Perfect Circle Noose, or The Noose. Great drum recordings in that, spatially too, as far as depth from the front of the stage. Yes, Glenn, Lady Blackbird is the bomb. Have you heard her new remixes? They just hit Apple Music this week. They're really, really good. I know none of the music he mentioned, LOL. I'm sorry. Check them out, though. Check them out, though. Here's
one other thing. If you guys, when you're watching any of our regular reviews, if you look into the description box beneath the video, if there's anything specific mentioned in terms of the movies we use during the evaluation or specific music, I always link to that. I often link to it even if Andrew doesn't verbally mention it. So, as I've always said, there is a wealth of information found beneath the video. Just click the show more.
Yeah.
And have your minds blown.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you'll find that I don't listen to a lot of like audiophile music. And I think I've said this in another live stream. I can't stand quote audiophile music. To me, it's I understand that there's a lot. I mean, music is subjective. All art is subjective. But the thought of like listening to, you know, someone pluck a single string in a cave somewhere in Indonesia is like it's I'm sure it was a stunning recording experience. It's just not something that I want to listen to. I want to listen to something that either conjures up good memories or makes me want to, or inspires me to want to create myself or do this and that. And I just think that some audiophile music tends to get pretty what's the word?
Boring.
Yeah, I mean it seems to be created for the purpose of showing off a system rather than the purpose of moving one's emotions.
Well, and I'm sorry, it's kind of predictable, a little bit pedestrian.
Pedestrian's the word I was looking for.
I don't feel like you can make anything sound bad through the typical audiophile music that gets played.
True.
At like like if you're at like a show or something, or at a dealer showroom or whatever, and they want to pull up their best Diana Krall or the Eagles or something. I mean, there's just not. Maybe not Diana. Maybe Diana Krall's a bad example.
No, I was gonna say I have yet to run into a speaker where she doesn't at least sound good.
Yeah, like it always sounds good, or what they're playing is often not very challenging to the speaker, so it doesn't really give you the best representation of its range. And and
a lot of people make the argument like, oh, but Audio Slave is compressed. Yeah, so
was 99% of the music you're listening to.
Well, it's not even that. It's not even that. It's like, so what if it is compressed? It's another type of challenge for a speaker. And I'll say this. I have yet to kind of run into a speaker where Diana Krall wasn't at least passable, enjoyable, pleasing on some level. But that's even the worst Diana Krall experience does not equal a great Audio Slave one. But the best Audio Slave experience made me feel like Diana Krall was inches from my face and the best she's ever sounded. So, all right, I digress. TM, expecting Tecton lore reference delivery in a couple of weeks. That's such a loaded statement. May drive them with a power node. What class AB amp would you recommend with a node 2i as an option? Depending on how you set those up, those speakers can either be very nicely balanced or they can be incredibly forward and in your face. So, node as a preamp or with a power node. Well, power node's got all the power you want, so I would definitely try that first. I would definitely make sure you get your speakers first before trying to plan out a roadmap for what to build around them. Because I know that Tecton, they make a great product, but they have delays. So I would make sure you get them first and then worry about where you go from there. As far as a class AB amp, I would say I would probably lean more towards something with a pretty high damping factor or higher damping factor. Audio Lab comes to mind. I know they don't have the highest damping factor, but they would be a pretty decent fit for a speaker like Tecton. I've done Emotiva and Tecton before. It was never my favorite. It works, but it was never my favorite. Shoot. Power Node would work. Yeah, man, I don't know. I liked my crown amps on my old Tecton stuff a lot. You just had to play with the gain on the crown amps to avoid the excessive noise from the tweeter. But that's what I'll say. Let's see. Oh, Andrew, any chance you will review the PSB Passive 50 this next year? I'm gonna say chances are probably in the single digits. Lenbrook's family of brands are not the easiest to deal with, but frankly, I just don't know how widely received that speaker really is in terms of like an audience. PSB makes good stuff, they really do. I just don't know. I would say that its chances are not good. Okay. Let's see. Oh, okay. Happy holidays, Kristi and Andrew. My amp is the Yamaha AS2200. Oh, you're Kristi's favorite already.
I love that amp.
And now want to get a new CD player. I'm looking at the Yamaha CDS2100 and the Technics SLG 700. The SLG 700 is fabulous. And if I'm not mistaken, it was also a streamer. It had a streamer built in. I want to say that the CD player is also a streamer. I'm going to say, I don't know anything about the Yamaha, so I'm going to say the Technics. We've had that SLG 700 twice now, and both times I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's a great piece. And I don't listen to CDs all that much, but I thought it was a really good piece. Oh, finally caught a live stream. I don't care about audio equipment, yet you guys' content is just so good. I can't help but watch and listen. I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Stephen Wright says, I hope to see some Andor clips in the future. Love the look of that show. 3 things about that. Number 1, I'm the only person on the planet that appears to not like that show. Number 2, it is beautiful, so long as you like gray. And number 3, I am so hesitant to ever show Disney-related clips in our videos because they historically have been incredibly litigious in terms of copyright claims. So if you see a Disney clip, know that I always include it, like white knuckling it as I hit render, because there's a real good chance that I'm going to get flagged and I'm going to have to take it out, and you guys will have never known that it was in there. So
yeah, we had to do that recently with a Netflix show.
A Netflix show. We got flagged for a Netflix show. Then we had to re-edit. It was on the Samsung review.
Yeah. Speaking of Netflix, I am obsessed with the new Wednesday.
Obsessed in past tense because now you're out of episodes.
Yeah, now I'm out of episodes. I think that's a really
very pretty show.
Very pretty show in terms of cinematography.
I'm looking at the Evo 150 and the N80 M33 to power the R700s. M33. And I don't really care for either one of those options personally, they weren't really my cup of tea, but I cannot fault the M33 for being like near as makes no difference. Like it's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. It does everything you would want an integrated to do. You just got to make sure that you just want that absolutely linear, no color vibe attitude. Just it's almost a straight tap to the power. M33. The Evo 150 sounded really kind of dry, and when you pushed it, there was like a grain. There was like this grain. It wasn't harsh, it wasn't brittle, it wasn't shimmery, so it didn't hit you here, but it just sounded like gravelly for some reason. I didn't like the Evo 150. Sorry, Cambridge. And
beautiful product.
Beautiful product.
Beautiful
product. Everything
product.
Cambridge makes is stunning, and they make things very, very well. That one just missed the boat for me. And the M33, not my cup of tea. I like a little bit of vibe in a sound, but it is near as makes no difference.
Yeah, if you like NAD sound,
it's a perfect amplifier.
Then it would be, I think, way better for the R700s.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The Evo is just gonna be too soft.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Got a pair of Focal 816s based on the review of the 826D and a Marantz you reviewed years ago. The NR 1200 plus a clip sub. Any beginner phono suggestions? As in a separate phono preamp or just a turntable in general? I'll give you both. Beginner phono suggestions. I tell everyone to start with, say, a U-turn audio. They're good. They're solid. You know, they're great. Get one spec'd with like an Ortofon 2M red cartridge or better. If you can get one with the blue, go for it. Another great starter and maybe end turntable would be the Fluence RT85. That comes with an Ortofon 2M blue out of the box. It's fantastic. It does not have a phono preamp built in. So Fluence does make a great standalone phono preamp. Cambridge Audio makes a great standalone phono preamp, and I think it's only like $200 or $300. U-Turn Audio's Orbit also is a great standalone $199 phono preamp, so that's where I would start. Oh gosh, oh my God, I was telling stories.
Have you missed super chats?
I'm catching back up.
You've got 10 minutes, Robinson.
I have 10 minutes. All right. Sorry, adjusting my info. Not the 801s only. I have had the Yamo S807s, 803, 801 with a 1400H Denon. And the Yamo sub, don't know the model. It's a bit messy sometimes in movies, I think. Any tips on this price? If it's a bit messy, I'm going to say that maybe your subwoofer placement and subwoofer integration is what's causing it to be messy. Because from the mid-range on up with the Yamo S series, you should be having some pretty sharp detail. So if you're finding that it's messy, I'm going to say that something about your placement or the subs integration. Do you run Odyssey with the Denon? That may help clean things up. You may want to just grab that subwoofer and just move it to a different spot in your room. Or Kristi's going to leave a link to our subwoofer placement video, maybe not right this second, but come back, watch this video some other time. Or just know to go after this live stream's over. Go watch our subwoofer integration placement video. It's in the education playlist. Make sure your subwoofer is following those rules before we start making any changes to your system. Okay, for its price point, what do you think is better than the KEF R3s? What do you think about KEF? I don't know what's better or worse than the R3s because I have not heard anything from the KEF R line.
I have been asking 3 years about probably 3 years going.
Yeah. So the R3 stands for 3 years worth of requests.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
You know what? You are more than just a pretty face.
You would, yeah. I don't think I have a pretty face,
you
but
do.
I
mean, I think so.
Writer. What do you think about KEF? I think KEF is great. I really do. I think that they make really nice products. Their LS60 wireless was our design of the year. I know that's totally different than R3s. KEF makes a good product. They really do. Their Q line especially is a massive bang for the buck. I just don't know anything about the R line. So sorry. Let's see. Oh, Peter, thank you. Thank you. Steve, Uno, how about some recovering audiophile merch? Hint, t-shirts. We had some. You guys didn't buy them. Merch is on the list for next year. There's a whole revamp. Here's some insight into how my brain works. I want to diversify. I do. I want to explore new topics, but I also want to make a couple of things and do a couple of moves behind the scenes that pay dividends for you guys, the viewers, in terms of your experience and what you see and how you interact and all of these things. And so I am always looking for ways that are going to allow me to bring on help, because we are at that stage where Kristi and I are completely maxed out. Like, we can keep going at the rate that we're going, but your demand for what it is that we do, and frankly, the demand of this industry for what we do, is outpaced what the two of us can handle. Yeah. And so next year is all about growth. And I know some of you may be going like, oh, more subscribers. Like it's about like, we're bursting at the seams here. And believe it or not, it's two people. We don't have an editor. We don't have writers. We don't have press.
We really need an ad rep.
We don't have press people. So we've got a lot of things that we have to tackle, and I have to learn how to let some things go and delegate and give myself some time, because this is a 7-day-a-week job. And I know Kristi's burnt out. I'm not there yet, but it is very taxing. So that's one of the things that I hope throughout the course of next year, without any disruption to your regularly scheduled content, Thursdays and Sundays, we will be able to address.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay, sorry. Let's see.
Jack Deemer just dropped $50.
Jack, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh,
sorry, we just got a delivery.
It's fine.
I think it's my clothes. Craig, hey Andrew, I have a pair of KEF Q100s, 85 dB efficiency, and want to upgrade my monoprice integrated. Any suggestion? Was looking at the Emotiva Base X. That's where I probably would have sent you. Emotiva Base X, going from a monoprice to that, probably budgetarily that makes sense with the Q100s. So yeah, I would say you're on the right track.
Did you answer JT's question about the Arundel with the receiver?
JT, oh, sorry. Okay, Arundel 1963 5.2.2. Which receiver, no external amp, would rock this system in a small room? Well, the Onkyo RZ50 did great when we had the Arundels. The Marantz did fantastic. The Cinema 50, I don't know what your budget is. So I'll say this. At $1,600, the RZ50 has yet to run up against a speaker pairing that it hasn't been able to work with. The Marantz Cinema 50 has taken what's great about the RZ50 and added a little bit of extra everything to the mix. I'm not saying it's night and day different. It's not. And you are spending $1,000+ more for that incremental 5 to 10% something. So those would be my two picks. And when I say RZ50, know that is, you can do the Pioneer equivalent, which I think is the 505. You can do the Integra equivalent, which is what we just gave Receiver of the Year to. So you have some options. All right, Craig. Okay, so I think we've gotten everybody. So,
and again, if we missed your super chat, please know that I will go through all of the super chats, because the cool thing that YouTube does is they organize all the super chats in one tab for me, so I can go through each video and make sure I haven't missed anything. Yeah. Just know that if you weren't answered, I got you.
we always try.
And you can always leave a comment in the comment section, like once the stream ends, and say, hey, please look for this, and I will hunt it down. Yeah.
I'm going to answer just two more quick ones here. Are Marantz 70 watts per channel enough to drive big speakers like the Elysian or 702 S3 concept? Yes, you will hear sound, obviously. It will drive it. Will it drive those speakers to their fullest potential without a separate amplifier or more power? I say no. You guys are awesome. Greetings from the Dominican Republic. Thank you for this. Thank you for the support and the super chat. I really, really appreciate it. Trying to decide between BassX A1 and shit audio Vidar for R700s. Is the Vidar the one we have?
Couldn't tell you.
I can't recall. If it's the one we have, BassX X1, the Vidar, it can't be. The Vidar isn't a high-powered amplifier. If so, you must be talking about a different one. I don't have experience with that one, so I'm going to say BassX A1. All right, guys. Oh, this guy, I think you misunderstood my goals, but if I don't, okay, he's talking to someone else.
Words.
Those weren't those. Okay. Last question, guys. Q990B versus a system at $2,500 or less video. Apartment where neighbors are concerned. Ooh, that's not a bad idea. That's a pretty decent idea. Have you checked out our home theater, 5 home theater systems on a budget video we did not too long ago? We may have addressed that type of a topic already. If you've missed that video, Kristi's going to link to it shortly. So, okay, guys. I apologize. Thank you so very much for all of the super chats and all of the support, but I am going to cut it off there. I just want to say real quick, while Kristi's answering and doing some links, I know the year's not over. We actually still have 3 videos to go before the new year. This Sunday is extra special. It's a video, a company you guys have been requesting all year. Finally got them. We've spent the last couple of months with them. So be sure to tune in on Sunday for that video. I think a lot of you are really going to dig it. And then we have, well, she let the cat out of the bag. We have another mission review coming of the 700s. And then a video that I meant to create earlier in the year when we moved here. The whole purpose of this room was to create, well, not just to create this video, but I thought this video was going to come out way sooner, but I finally have found the time in our schedule to put this awesome setup together. So the final video of the year is my dream kind of home theater setup for this room.
No, guys, it's not Paradigm. I don't know what, I mean,
it's not Paradigm. It's not Paradigm.
I cannot express anymore that
Sunday.
They do not return. They do not return our calls or our emails. They do not respond. And we've literally been sent, screenshots of emails that you guys, people like you, have sent to that family of brands. They're like, oh yeah, sounds great, and then nothing happens. It's probably never going to happen.
It's not
unfortunate.
It's not Paradigm, but it is another very highly requested brand.
I may reach out to Paradigm one more time in the new year, and I'll be like, this is it, guys.
This is it.
Here's your chance.
So we've got a great video for you Sunday. We've got another mission review coming that I think you're going to like, and then at the end of the year, I finally get to take the wraps off of what I've always wanted to build, which is a dream kind of home theater 2-channel system for this room. So we're going to walk you through all of that. But between all of that, just thank you. This year has been fantastic. You guys have made it great. Obviously, I mean, we've surpassed 300,000 subs. This is our official, the 19th, I believe, of this month, which is in 4 days. We will have been doing this for exactly 3 years. And so thank you. Like I said earlier in the stream, for next year, big plans, lots of stuff happening. Shouldn't impact you guys at all, but hopefully make the experience that much more enriching and better. So let's end on that note. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, whatever,
happy
Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate,
Kwanzaa,
wherever you are.
Yeah, if you don't have a Christmas-ish holiday and you're just like, oh, happy that the year's ending. I mean,
whatever it is, man.
Just
you do you. You do you. We just want you all to be happy, healthy, safe.
Yep.
And So anyway, guys, thank you thank you so much for a great stream again. And we will see you on Sunday. Same time, same bat channel. Bye, guys.